Okay, welcome back to Rome Remastered as we continue on our Greek campaign. We're going to be expanding on all fronts, but in particular we're going to be going for an assault on the city of Carthage. And mistakes have been made. We have gone for siege towers when of course I meant to be going for sap points. And siege towers are of course not great with phalanx units, so we're in for some pain there, but still going to go for it anyway because I think this is definitely doable. I think the Libyan Spearmen in particular are not a big threat. Iberian infantry on the walls could be a problem, but at most they have 3 full units of those, if I'm counting right. 1, 2... yeah, at most 3 full units. So it should be doable, even with phalanx units, and plus we do have some mercenaries available to us. So we're going to fuse a couple of these units together. We're going to send these guys round to the side. And we're going to pick up a couple of mercenary units if I can just select my general, not sure why I can't. There we go. Going to go for some mercenary hoplites and probably going to send a couple of these Peltas units out too, and then let's pick up a couple of replacements. I don't think these are going to help us too much, but still. It's better than nothing. So this force I think should be enough to take on Carthage, and then we've got lots of other stuff to attack as well. But let's do one thing at a time. Let's go for Carthage, let's see how it goes. Very much in our favour, we do have some backup, and I'm not too worried about any of this stuff, so I think we should be fine. Obviously don't want to fight a night battle and keep our own reinforcements out. Let's just go for it and see what happens. Alright, so we're going to attack from this side because we do have some arrow towers to worry about, but we also have pretty easy access to the town square, which is an extremely large town square, I guess because it's a city. The walls themselves are relatively small. We've got our 3 siege towers. We're just going to go for the walls, see what happens, as doesn't seem too heavily defended. Okay, so this one is going to go for that one, and this one's going to go for this one. Let's see the situation. So yeah, there's actually nothing on that side of the walls, and then up here we've got skirmishes, Iberian infantry there, Iberian infantry there, and Libyan Spearmen there. So there are some Iberian infantry. I think this siege tower in particular is going to have a bit of a hard time. But if we go up against the skirmishes, that should be completely fine. And hopefully we can just rush some units through the gates and actually start taking the town without having to actually worry about defeating everything on the walls. Hopefully that's going to be okay, but let's speed this up and let's see what happens. Yeah, so we've taken a lot of losses to the towers there, and unfortunately they are going to be shooting us in the back as we attempt to deploy. We've already lost a huge number of units here, and then this unit as well has been completely annihilated. I'm not really sure why. I think it's just the skirmishes, but they've completely destroyed this unit. I'm really surprised by that. That's really bad. This has also been destroyed. Just gonna have to run these guys out. Yeah, it's not going well so far, but let's just see what we can do. So we've got a couple more units here that we can send up. I think we just have to go for this. Once we actually deploy, just have to send some units in afterwards and see what happens. At least we're not being shot anymore. So we've lost 1.5 units of armoured hoplites. These guys are not going to have a great time, but they're also... no, they are going to be up against Iberian infantry, so that's going to be really bad. We have to get some more units in there as quickly as possible. So, we're sending these guys in. Let's speed them up. And we've got these guys too. Let's do the same thing. Okay, here we go. The first ones drop onto the walls. We've got Iberian infantry there, so that's not great. But if we can attack them with both units at once, we might be okay. I'm going to try and send everyone up at once. So these guys are now going to be going onto the walls. Do the same with these. Hopefully they are going to understand the command correctly, as it looks like they've made their decision. They all want to go up the exact same siege tower, which is not the point at all. Let's try and do this instead. Maybe this will work. Let's see. Pathfinding things suggest that is where they're going to go. These guys have dropped as well. They are fighting Iberian infantry too. So Iberian infantry might not be as bad. It says defeat seems certain, which is a very positive sign. We just don't want to repeat of the previous situation where we were fighting against Hastati and things. Alright, so these guys are fighting the Iberian infantry. They're already fighting to the death, so that's great. Let's turn our attention to the skirmishes. Let's try and wear those down as quickly as possible. These guys are clearly clearly not really going up, but we'll keep trying and we'll see what happens. These guys are fighting the Iberian infantry, and yeah, still seem pretty confident of victory, so Iberian infantry nowhere near as bad as Hastati and Principes by the looks of it, but can't get overconfident. These guys are taking loads of losses. We need to try and get them up the walls if we can. We've got some more Iberian infantry approaching us there. As yeah, this tower in particular has got a huge number of kills. This unit has been completely torn to shreds. These guys are still making their way up. We're going to try and spread these out if we can, although... Oh no, they're already going up. Okay, so let's just see what they can do. Basic hoplites might not do as well, but we just have to see how it goes. So, Skirmishes already fighting to the death there, and... yeah, that is just 2 units of Skirmishes, so that should be okay. As these guys seem to have won, let's rush them through the gate tower. Try and attack these guys from both sides at once. Okay, so this unit is going to go up, I think. These guys are clearly not. I'm going to try this one more time.
Great gods! Our soldiers have done well this day. The walls are taken!
Okay, so as we've captured the walls, we've obviously got the gateway, which, to be fair, means it's definitely time to go in. We don't want to be fighting on the walls, we want to try and avoid that as much as possible. So let's send these guys straight through. Gonna try and run them in. We do want to try and take this tower, but I think the most important thing, of course, is just to get inside as quickly as we can. Okay, so these guys aren't moving. Yeah, these guys are refusing to move. They should be on tight formation. They should be going up. These guys are on their way up. The Skirmishes still just the one that's been broken. Second unit is wavering, so that looks pretty positive. Okay, let's turn our attention to these. Okay, so on the ground they've got Libyan Spearmen. They've got their General's Bodyguard, which could be a bit of an issue. Libyan Spearmen in the town square, and then elephants towards the back. Okay, so the mass is on its way through. Looks like we're going to be fighting against Libyan Spearmen. Let's just see if we can form up as much as possible. Just going to have to drop our spears and go for this, I think. I could send these down. I think we're going to have to. Okay, these guys are finally on their way up. Let's see what they can do. As this is really not a good fight for us, but we just have to try and push through. We're not taking too many losses. They are taking some losses too. They seem to think they're going to lose. Okay, so we'll turn on those. The General's Bodyguard has kind of moved away, so that's all looking pretty good. Over on this side, we've got Iberian Infantry, Libyan Spearmen, and 2 units of hoplites, which I think can just about manage things. Let's send in a couple more units of hoplites. Might as well send in the Skirmishes as well. Okay, so we've scared these off. Let's try and get everyone through the gates. Okay, this is messy, but we're just going to try and go for it. These guys are all being shot. Let's try and rush them through. Need to try and get this tower if we can. Okay, so that all looks pretty good. Let's keep moving forwards towards the square. So in the square we've got the General's Bodyguard and the elephants. If we just form up like this, that should actually be enough. I'm going to send the General in too. Okay, let's see. So someone's moving in to engage. I am kind of rushing this a bit, I can't lie. So the General's Bodyguard is staying in the town square, that's all fine. Libyan Spearmen, and elephants. None of that stuff worries me too much. General's Bodyguard could cause some problems, but I think we should mostly be fine. Let's rush these guys in too. Let's try and put them on the sides. These guys should all be in phalanx formation once they form up. Yeah, so because we've not made contact with the town square itself, they've not actually kicked into life yet. They are going to send a few stragglers to come and fight us, but that's completely fine. There we go, we do scare them off straight away. Libyan Spearmen coming in, they're already wavering before they reach us. Going straight into our hoplites and immediately broken, so that's all fine. Let's just wait until these guys form up. As over here we've got our skirmishes. Not sure we can do much with them, but let's just bring them in. Then we've got a few more hoplites. Then we've also got this fight going on, but it looks like we have decisively beaten all of those. That's perfect. And the skirmishes over here have been defeated as well, so that's pretty much it. Did expect worse from the siege towers, but as it turns out, everything was fine. And I think we just move towards this. This is a little bit risky. They do charge us as soon as we make contact. But if we can surround them with everything at the same time, I think we should be okay. Make sure we stay in phalanx formation. Elephants are coming in. Okay, so how's this actually going? General's bodyguard has been pretty much decisively beaten. The elephants are going to charge in, but they should go down very quickly.
The enemy general is dead. His men know their doom approaches.
Elephants doing some damage to us, but not too much. Libyan Spearmen there should be no problem. Actually taking quite a long time to take these down. Okay, let's not involve the skirmishes. Okay, not a perfect surround, but that should get the job done. We will take a few losses, but we should be able to recover most of them. Alright, so it's just this one guy left. Decides not to actually go for us. Charge him down, job done.
This victory surely they were.
Okay.
Not that of mortal.
That actually went a lot better than expected. Okay, no messing around. We're going to go straight for the extermination that gets us 20,000 denarii, and we can put these guys down to a low tax rate. We can retrain a few of these, so let's just merge them together. Okay, so with these merged, we can retrain these two. And this town is good enough to go straight for retraining armored hoplites as well, which is great. So if we do that, we can then retrain these. We can retrain these. And I think the rest should actually be fine to just push straight on. So let's take most of these units. So everything relatively healthy we're just going to take with us. Join these up. And then let's go and hit these. As they do try and run off, but they can't get too far, and we can then go run them down. Okay, so we can't quite reach them, but we can send these guys forward.
Move out! Move out!
Okay, so the Thaxian heir is in Thapsus. He's got 4 units. These 4 units are probably not strong enough to take him on, given that he is a general. So we're going to have to probably pull these back. Try and bring these guys together. Don't want to fight these. Gonna have to go back to Libyan and retrain. Let's get some more peasants. We're gonna send the peasants to the east to Syracuse. And in this town, we're gonna go for some basic hoplites. Then back in Rome, most of our units have retrained with the exception of the archers who need to go back to, I think, Capua. Oh no, Capua has no archery range either. Okay, so I'm not sure where exactly those should go. Perhaps they should go all the way back to Tarentum. Alternatively, if we send them to Arretium, let's have a look. So should have just sent them to Arretium instead, that was a mistake. Okay, so let's take them out of Capua. Send them in this direction. We're going to take these guys too, we're going to send them towards Arretium. Then we're going to take all of these healthy units from Rome. We're going to send them up towards Arretium as well. That makes Rome extremely unhappy, but if we just send a few peasants across, I think that should just about fix things. I might have gone a bit overboard here. Let's see what happens. 65%. We'll send these into still 65%. So we'll send these guys to Capua. Capua goes up to 72%. We should have some more peasants we can send across too. Okay, slightly messy, but it does enable us to stay very aggressive, so let's keep doing it. We've got Araminum, which is currently retraining. This is a pretty similar situation, we can probably just push straight on, but I think what we should actually do is, because there is a bit of an awkward crossing, it's quite hard to get to. I think the better way to go is just to jump in the ships. The ships have kicked the Roman fleet out of the harbour, so we can now attack these two units, which are pretty separate, I think. I don't think they should reinforce each other. Just gonna go straight for the attack. Okay, so we scared those off. Let's go to Araminum. Okay, so are we actually close enough? I'm not really sure. Let's test this out. Okay, so if we jump in the ships, we can disembark, but no, there's no way through because we can't attack them in the port. Okay, so we're gonna have to wait for one more turn, but that should be fine. Let's send these guys back to retrain. And let's go for some more archers. Then we're going to take all of these forces, with the exception of the weakened ones. We're going to drop them to a low tax rate, and we're going to take this guy. We're going to step out of the town, see what happens, as they still seem to be okay. So if we go to the west, there should be another Julii town, which there is, Segesta, which has Manius Julius. We can go straight for his town, launch the siege, put down a few rams, and we can see Town Watch, Astarte, and Equites, so that should be pretty straightforward. Let's check the mercenary situation. We can go for some barbarian mercenaries. Let's do it. Perfect. Okay, so this should be pretty easy to take next turn. Then up in this part of the map, we've got a free spy, which has a 75% chance of getting into this town. Let's go for it. We do manage to get in. Question is, will he open the gates? He actually does. Perfect. I didn't actually expect him to. Okay, so it's 4 units of Spear Warband, which can be difficult to deal with. And we have no extra mercenaries available to us. Okay, so we do have our Spartan Hoplites, we have Sarmatian mercenaries, a few Cretan archers, 2 generals. This is less straightforward, but I think we do just go for it. Yeah, let's do it. No point doing auto-resolve. Firstly, it could go wrong, and secondly, we've got lots of irreplaceable units here, namely the Spartan Hoplites and the Cretan Archers, so much better to do it manually. Okay, so we have pretty easy access to the town. This tower could shoot us, this tower is not going to shoot us. They have decided to wait in front of the gates. That's not ideal. I guess we just start by attacking them since they don't have any range units. Okay, so Cretan archers begin to fire. These guys are headed up as well. That scares them off, so we can now send in the various phalanxes. Let's hold these guys back for now. Let's start off with just these 3. Armed hoplites in behind. Do as much damage as we can with these, as we do get quite a few kills.
Great gods! Our soldiers have done well this day. The walls are taken!
Okay, so absolutely no reason to rush this. We can just wait until we get as many kills as we can. Spear Warband, that's mostly dead, and then they've got 2 full ones in the town square. Let's move these up. Okay, so that scared them off. Let's send the armored hoplites in next. And this is a little bit risky, but then again they are in phalanx stance, so I think we can go for it. Okay, here we go, Screeching Women. they're going to go for the charge. By the looks of it, they should be routed pretty quickly. I'm not actually sure about their morale situation, but they have like no stats, so that's not a problem. Spear warband coming towards us, and then 2 more units in the town square. So they do have a fair few defenders, but we should be fine. They go in towards this phalanx. They have slightly flanked us, but we just go straight for them. That should be fine. These guys are coming for us as well. Bring up our hoplites to the side. Okay, let's speed this up. This should be fine. We can get them from the side as well. Not sure what's going on here. We have at least routed the Screeching Women. We do manage to rout those eventually. Let's move up towards the town square. So this should be fine, I think. We don't have any ammo that we can go for at this point, but don't really want to involve the Spartans. Do have to keep them safe. They are pretty much irreplaceable. Let's see what they do. Looks like they are going to go for the attack. Okay, my PC is trying to tell me my internet's cut out, but that does not matter. Let's go for this. Scare them off. Line up again. I think they are just going to keep coming in, but then they're going to keep getting scared off as well. I have no idea what's going on at this point. Let's check this again. Okay, they're all facing the wrong direction.
The gods have filled the enemy general with fear. Now he flees the field like a coward.
Gonna pull back slightly.
The general is slain, and now his men fear us. It is time to press the attack.
Okay, that didn't go too well. I think we just go for the full press at this point. Hope for the best. I'm gonna slow this down slightly. As yeah, these guys are kind of facing the wrong direction. These guys should be good to go in. Yep, I've rushed that a bit. I've managed to lose a few units. Spear warband in the middle says it's evenly matched. This is actually looking kind of bad. I need to slow this down. Let's see. So they are flanking us slightly. I think I need to bring the general in just to shore up the morale. We've got Bastani mercenaries too. Bastani mercenaries, of course, do have the advantage of not relying on phalanx, which is not normally an advantage, but phalanxes are not the most reliable when it comes to facing the right direction. So I think the armored hoplites are going to be okay. These guys are down to 175. It says they're wavering. It says defeat seems certain, so looks like we have just about got a grip on this. Yeah, this is not working. These guys are all facing this direction. So we're being stabbed from the sides. We are fighting them with swords. But they still have a bit of a phalanx against us. If the Bastani come up, I think they're going to do best. So really heavy casualties here, and because this is just a basic town, we're not going to be able to get them back. Gonna send the Bastani in. I've definitely rushed this a bit. I shouldn't have done it like this. But it is Germania. Germania does not have too much to fight us off with. Doing this a bit too late. Okay, let's go for it. No idea what's going on. Our general should surely survive this. 2 men left.
Gods be praised. This victory surely their work, not that of mortals like us.
Okay, so we did get a lot more kills than losses, but of course we've lost... Essentially we've lost all of our hoplites. We only have... We have 1,000 men left, but it's a lot of peltasts. Few Cretians. We still have the Spartans, of course, but it's going to be difficult to retrain the hoplites, so that's really not ideal. This one I might actually occupy, because we probably do need some population in this part of the world. So we can train up some peasants to shore up the public order. Let's do it. And there is nothing we can construct, because yeah, this is just a basic town. The units we're left with, if we combine all of the armoured hoplites, we probably just about have 1 unit of armoured hoplites, 1 unit of Spartan hoplites, and about half a unit of normal hoplites. So it's not looking too good. We can see this guy pretty nearby who's got Spear Warband, Screeching Woman. Don't think he's actually going to attack us, so that should be fine. Okay, so the spy has improved. We can actually send him out. Let's find out a bit more. Okay, so he does have a few mercenaries, but that's fine, he's pretty weak. Okay, let's turn our attention now to the eastern frontier. We're going to attack the Seleucids on the bridge. As we do push them back, let's just go straight for them. So this is 2 units of Militia Cav. I think we just auto-resolve this. They do get 84 kills, but that's fine. They fall back to Hatra. Let's go into the town. Didn't actually check the percentage, but we're completely fine. It's a pretty weak town, so that's all good. We're going to go for this. We're going to check the mercenaries again, as there's nothing new available. We've got this guy who's going to push into the lands of, I think it's Armenia. Let's see what we can find. Yeah, so this is Armenian land. They're not going to be too happy with us, but pretty sure we can take them on. We do have a spy we can send as well. Then we have our 71-year-old faction leader, who probably does need to be moving out since he's really at the end of his useful life. Let's go for these, as we do push them back. Okay, so we need to figure out the situation if we step out of the town. So if we do that, 124% public order. We take some of our best units with us. Still 124%, okay, that's perfect. Take these 2. So we'll join up. Okay, so it's starting to drop, it goes down to 84%. I'm going to send some normal hoplites across. Going to recruit some more in Tarsus. And in Antioch, let's go for a few more armoured hoplites. Let's join these up too. 84% still, so I think we can pretty much send everyone. Okay, that might have been going a bit too far. We're going to drop them down to a low tax rate. We're going to attack these. And apparently that's as far as we can travel this turn, possibly because I've stupidly brought these spearmen from Tarsus with me. We do still have a bit of a public order nightmare to deal with, so we're going to go back to Capua. We're going to pick up some peasants. We're going to retrain our armoured hoplites, then we're going to go across to Corinth. We're going to recruit some peasants. All of the peasants are going to try to move towards Sparta, so I'm going to actually cancel some of these spawn points. And let's just go across. Get a few peasants. Make sure we fix that public order situation. Gonna send the archers down to Sparta, and I think we probably can go for this. We step out. Is our capital city, so there's no distance to capital penalty to our public order. Stays at 90%, so we can jump in the ships. So we've got our archers, we've got our peasants, and then these ships can go pretty far. Did originally think I would attack Egypt. That would be kind of the completionist thing to do. But there is a town in this little part of the map right here, and we should be able to reach that in a couple of turns' time, and should be able to take that pretty quickly. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to Belisora, and I'm actually going to start recruiting a few hoplites, because that Julii force that was headed towards Apollonia never really materialized, and I do fear that it might be going for Belisora instead. There's also a chance that they could go for a Quincum. A Quincum is very weakly defended. Lovis Sice, I don't know how to pronounce that. This town is also pretty weakly defended, so this whole part of the world is a little bit vulnerable. We could send some defenders from this town, but this town is also pretty vulnerable, and then Porolissum just has some basic cav, which is not necessarily what we need. Basic cav in particular against the German phalanx, not going to do too well. Let's just send them up in this direction. And then I think we're going to actually send some of these forces out. No, this is still such a weak force, I don't trust it at all. If we can send something a bit better. Let's take these instead. Okay, so Campus Gete is not too happy with that, but we'll send them some peasants. We'll send a couple more. Okay, so that should be fine. Take these two. And Campus Scythii should be fine. Let's go for some militia cav. Go for some Greek cav in this town, and we're just going to start pushing towards this. There was at one point that massive Scythian force. If they're still there, they could cause us some problems, but let's actually go and scout. So there's some rebels. Let's go to the west. Okay, seems fairly clear. They could still be up in this part of the map. Do have to be a little bit careful, but we're going to start making moves in that direction as well. And I think that is the end of an extremely busy turn, where we still could have achieved more than we did if we had done all this stuff correctly. But never mind. Let's end the turn, or in fact, we should probably spend some of this money, or we could look into doing some bribes. So this is not their capital. But if I bribe it, I'm not sure I gain too much. What I can do is I can send this guy towards the Amazons. The hidden Amazon town in this part of the world, pretty much everyone knows it. You almost certainly know it if you're watching this video. There is a hidden town right in this corner of the map. So we're going to try and grab that. We're going to try and bribe it. Not sure if we'll manage it in time, but I think that's worth a go. Okay, let's end the turn. Gonna save our money.
Greetings.
Okay, so it's our first encounter with Egypt. We still have a pretty incredible reputation, considering the number of wars we've been in. We offer them an alliance. They are not at all happy with that because we are in so many wars. Let's see if they'll pay us. Okay, so that's too demanding. 5,000 demanding. They'll give us 2,800. Let's try that again. Gonna go for a nice round 3,000. They do go for it. So we've got trade rights with them that immediately boosts our income. And we can see they are spying on Antioch as well.
Dear friend.
Okay, this is extremely unexpected. So Spain actually wants an alliance. They're allies of the Julii. They want money. If I offer them map information instead.
We see no benefit to us.
Okay, well they did want one before. I'm actually kind of interested in that, but I don't think it's worth paying for. Perhaps I'll pay them... I'll offer them 1,000, definitely not 10,000.
We see no benefit
Okay.
to us.
I'm not sure they actually wanted that. We're going to go just for trade rights. Pretty sure we're not going to end up at war with these guys. Going to ask them for 1,000. They see that as generous. That's fine.
A most generous proposal.
Ah, Cleomenes has died. I did see something happen, but I didn't think it was that. Okay, that's a real shame because he was such a good leader. He did so well. These guys are now leaderless. We should still be able to scare these off. But yeah, that's not the outcome we wanted. Let's try and send this guy into Hatra. 75% chance of success. Candidate for adoption. Let's see where this guy pops up. So he actually pops up in this town, which is fine because we do need defenders there, so I think that's okay. Armenia and Parthia have broken their alliance. So sad that the faction leader has died. He did so well. He had 2 silver chevrons on his unit as well, about 90 men on a bodyguard. Just really solid all around, but we do have a new faction leader who is Antigonos the Conqueror, who is in this town, so that might explain why we adopted someone new. I am actually going to go for some militia hoplites because they are better than nothing. Egypt is the most advanced faction, and we've got a lot of money to work with. Okay, well, I think we've done enough for this part, so thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Before we end the episode, we'll do this one last thing. We will start our siege of this town. Next time, we're going to be taking the Scythian capital of Tanais. We're going to be moving towards Thapsus, which should be pretty easily beatable, and we're going to be expanding towards Armenia and into the Roman lands as well. Segesta is another target. Lots to be getting on with, but that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.